What's up, guys? This is Ryan Fee from PokerTube, and what I'm going to be talking about today is bankroll management and the variance in poker. So first, a little bit about me. I started playing poker in the beginning of 2007. I started with $300 in a dream. I deposited the money on a poker site, and I played 10 cent, 25 cent full ring. I think I played 3 tables at a time, and so that's measly 12 buy-ins. I knew about bankroll management, but I didn't know. I just knew it was a thing, and that was sort of one of the first things I learned. I was very lucky to learn it because it sort of kept me in the game and allowed me to sort of rise through the ranks. And was very lucky to have start out with 12 buy-ins. I think I started out 12 buy-ins, played really tight, and then just hung really tough. And the games were really 25 NL almost 10 years ago, pretty easy game. So just by playing sort of playing tight, following bankroll management, I was able to not bust my roll and sort of move up in stakes. I think it's definitely something that I think a lot of players really at all levels struggle with or don't sort of don't appreciate to certain degrees. And if you know much about sort of poker players in the whole, oftentimes they'll go broke, and it's not because they simply ran really bad. It's because they ran really bad when weren't practicing proper bankroll management. So sort of throughout my entire career, I've always practiced really good bankroll management. So I started out with 12 buy-ins, but I don't think I moved it up to 25 cent, 50 cent until I had like $1,000 in my account, which again is very aggressive, but I didn't know much about it back then, and that wasn't as crazy back then. If you just sort of played tight online, you could win. Pretty big win rate. So and then sort of since then, especially as I started moving up in stakes, I don't think I moved up to 3.6 until I had about a 30k bankroll or so. I think I moved up to 5.10 at around 40 or 50. I moved up to 10.20 around I think 70 or 80. Again, sort of on the aggressive. It might have been like 100 by the time we got to 5.10 or 10.20. Again, sort of aggressive, but more reasonable, especially as I got the higher stakes. And then I didn't move up to 25.50 until like 200, 250, something like that. And that was again back sort of in the glory days where your just edge was a lot bigger. Nowadays the games are very aggressive, people are very good. It's hard to have as big of an edge. So now probably more than even more so than back then. It's important to have practice really good bankroll management because players are better. So this is shout out to Poker Dope. They've got a poker variance calculator. We'll sort of run through this a little bit, and I'll sort of show you how how this whole thing works and how to think about your bankroll in terms of sort of variance. We're going to assume that we're winning at 4 big blinds per 100. Definitely a smaller win rate. If this is a win rate that you might have online, if you can play and win live, so your win rate will probably be much bigger. Also online, one of the stats in Poker Tracker is standard deviation in terms of big blinds per 100. Here we have standard deviation about 90. It's in the again realm of reasonability for sort of live or sort of online poker. And we're going to simulate 10,000 hands, and depending upon how many tables you play, if you play Zoom or not Zoom or whatever, 10,000 hands is a sample that you could definitely achieve, in a week or somewhere between a week and a month if you play a lot of poker. So I think did we run it? We'll run the calculation again. Okay, so here we go. So we've got our 10,000 hands, and what this shows is it shows your EV. So 4 big blind win rate, 10,000 hands. That essentially equates to you winning 4 buy-ins, 400 big blinds over the course of these hands. And this sort of these lines here are just all different trials and samples of it's okay, this win rate, this variance, sort of this is what happens. If you scroll down here to the data, it'll tell us that our probability of loss, of losing money after 10,000 hands is 32%, almost 33%. So about a third of the time after 10,000 hands with this win rate, you're gonna lose money. So sort of what it's telling you here is the bankroll you'll need for a less than 5% risk of ruin is going to be about a little bit more than 30 buy-ins, which is reasonable, but I would probably I haven't seen this yet. I would probably advocate for even more. I would advocate for sort of even more buy-ins. Like I would say, if you're playing cash games, you're going to shoot for about 40 buy-ins, and tournaments you're going to shoot for about 100 buy-ins. Tournaments, you could go as low as 70 or 80, but I would tend to try to keep it to 100. Because there's we'll talk about tournaments in a second, but there's just a lot more variance in them, and you can run really bad for a really long time. So if you're thinking, so what risk of ruin is that if you don't sort of move down, the risk of ruin is the percent of time, sort of all things being equal, that you'll lose all your money and you'll bust your bankroll. And that's, if you're gonna bust your bankroll, that's that could be GG on the sesh. So yeah, it's very important, because even a very good player can still just run really really bad, have a risk of ruin, and sort of just bust their roll. I know every single one of the sickest high stakes pros that I know goes on very big downswings. So it can really just happen to sort of anyone. So all right, let's take out a pretty good live win rate. So let's say pretty good live win rate, 15 big blinds per 100. The thing is, the live games tend to play bigger than the online games, so you're going to have a higher standard deviation. So I wouldn't say it's unreasonable to have, let's say 150 big blind per 100 standard deviation. So anyway, calculate this over the same 10,000 hands. So here, if this is your win rates and this is the standard deviation, sort of all things being equal, your probability of loss after 10,000 hands is about 15%. Thing is, live, if you're lucky, you're getting, let's say, 33 hands an hour, right? So if play 10,000 hands divided by 33 hands an hour, it's going to take us 300 hours to play this 10,000 hands. And it's certainly plausible that maybe your win rate isn't as good as 15. Maybe it's only 10. And if we sort of look at that much smaller win rate, 25% chance of losing money after that sample. Also, let's say you play in a really crazy game. Let's say the standard deviation is 200. Now all of a sudden, with 10 big blind win rate, after 10,000 hands, you have a probability of loss of almost 30%. But now, let's say, again, we'll go back to, sort of 15 or 115 and 15 big blind per 100 win rate. But, again, it's going to take you a very long time to play, 10,000 hands in 300 hours. Let's say you just play 1,000 hands. In this sample, almost a 40% chance with, reasonable standard deviation and, pretty dang good win rate for you to lose after that sample of hands. So even if you are already a winning player, and you know that you're a winning player, by having just simply the nature of the variance in the game, not you doing everything right, you could still go on these big downswings. If we look at sort of this one here, it's over the sample of 1,000 hands. They run out the 20 samples here. This sample lost almost 15 buy-ins. And if if you're playing deeper, again, this number could go up. It could be 200. Here, the worst sample losing almost 20 buy-ins, and this is assuming everything's static, and you're like a robot of some sort. You start losing with a little bit of confidence, tilt, don't play your A game. All of a sudden you go from being a 15 big blind per 100 winner to maybe a 5 big blind per 100 winner. Still a lot of variance, and now all of a sudden it's almost a coin flip whether or not you lose or win money over this sample. So anyway, the point that I want to just sort of get across here is that if you want to play poker as in such a way where you want to build a bankroll, you sort of want to do it right, you don't want to bust your roll, you don't want to deal with sort of the swings and everything, you're going to have to practice really good bankroll management. You just have to just sort of know what your bankroll is, and then try to have at least 40 for 40 buy-ins for cash games. And again, if you're playing online, maybe you could cheat and have like about 30. If you're playing live, I would say, again, go the other way, maybe 50, 60. To sort of be properly rolled. And then, that way, when you got to make that bluff, when you have to make that hero call, sort of whatever it is, you can do that. And you're not, the thing you want to do is you never want to be like, oh, I'm worried about this money. If you're worried about the money, you've like already lost. You cannot do that. If you got a hero call, if you got to run the big bluff, you have to have sort of no reservations about the money. If it's the best play, it's the best play, and you got to make it and sort of live with the results. It's sort of a quick caveat for tournaments. Tournaments, again, even sort of even more variance in them because of the asymmetric payouts. Meaning, let's say you win 10 buy-ins in a row in terms of chips in a tournament. You win the tournament. You're not going to win 10 buy-ins. You're going to win like 100 buy-ins. The thing is, because of that asymmetric payout, the thing is, like 80 to 90% of the time, depending on the tournament, you're not going to cash. So it's quite easy in tournaments to lose. I know very good players that lose upwards of 50 buy-ins in a row, sort of straight, just because of sort of the highly volatile nature of tournaments. So if you're going to play them, again, I would recommend at least 100, maybe cheat and go 80, but honestly, the bigger the better, and just try to get in volume, try to get in hands, and sort of review your play. Closing thought here is that if you're watching this, you're looking to improve or sort of get better at poker. You have to be willing to recognize that you're not going to be as good a player as you will be sort of next week, next month, 6 months from now. You're gonna grow and get better. And there's a lot of people that have been playing poker for a really long time. And as you're a beginner, you want to be sort of on the more cautious side, because that's when you're sort of at the biggest risk to make a mistake, make a misestimation of your edge. Especially in tournaments, very, very, very basically impossible to estimate exactly what your edge is in tournaments. In cash games, again, the game could change, your feelings could change, and you might be playing in better or worse or more winning or losing situation. So again, when you're sort of starting out, you should just approach things skeptically. Understand there's a lot you don't know, but you have a lot to learn, and just be safe. Just be safe with your bankroll, so that you can. It doesn't matter how bad things get, sort of on a single day. It's it's about winning the war. It's about coming. It's about waking up, tomorrow, the next week, or the next month, or whatever. Feeling good, and then getting in there and playing your game, playing a winning style, and winning. Bankroll management, a very, very big part of this, or that. So anyway, I hope you like this video. I hope it helped. If you like what I had to say here, definitely check me out on my website, Upswing Poker. It's a training site that me and Doug Polk made, where we teach like a full course for poker. We teach you all the sort of basic stuff you need to know: pre-flop strategy, what hands to play, exact ranges, how to rank hands, how to think about hands, and then post-flop strategy. How, you sort of have all these hands from pre-flop. What do you do with them? How do you rank them? How do you play them? How do you think about them? And then we tie the whole thing together with the plan explain videos, where we teach you this whole strategy and then execute the strategy you just got taught, to show you sort of how it works. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, definitely check us out at Upswing Poker, or check us out on Twitch. You can just sort of hang out and talk around with us on Twitch. You can check us out at twitch.tv/upswingpoker. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope I'll see you soon.